fatty acids classification and their nomenclature of fatty acids and Genevan system. So, Genevan system of nomenclature of fatty acids, we will be learning about that. So, nomenclature of fatty acids, Genevan system. The systematic nomenclature of the fatty acids is based on the Genevan system. According to the system, the carbons in a fatty acid chain are numbered consecutively from the end of the chain, the carbon of the carboxyl group COOH being considered as number 1. Then the carbon atom adjacent to the carboxyl group carbon atom is 2, C2 and so on, or by the use of Greek letters. C2 is denoted as alpha carbon, C3 beta carbon, etc. The suffix OIC is written in the place of the final letter E in the name of the hydrocarbon. The names of saturated fatty acids end with the suffix enoic acid and those of unsaturated acids with the suffix enoic acid. Saturated will end with anoic and unsaturated will end with suffix enoic, ENOIC. So when we just number them, are CH2, 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 CH2 and COH. That COH part will be number 1. Then the next one will be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like alpha, beta, gamma. Like that. Continuing. It will be continuing like that. A widely used convention to indicate the number and position of the double bonds in the case of an unsaturated fatty acid is to write the number of carbon atoms, the number of double bonds and the position of double bond below the name of the acid. Like the position of a double bond is indicated by the lower number of the 2 carbon atoms involved in double bonding. For example, 1 oleic acid CH3, CH2, 7, CH, COH, CH2, 7, CH. It is a unsaturated fatty acid. Number of carbon atoms 18. Double bond is between 9th and 10th carbon atoms. Number of double bond is equal to 1. And so it is written as oleic acid 18, 1 is to 9. 18 carbon atoms, 1 double bond, position as C9. Okay, so oleic acid will be 18, 1, 9. That means 18 carbon atoms, 1 double bond, position as C9. Then the linoleic acid, total number of carbon atoms will be 18. Number of double bonds will be 2. Position of double bonds in between C9 and C10 in a C12 and C13. Hence it is written as 18, 2, 9, 12. First we will be writing the number of carbon atoms, that is 18 in this case. Then number of double bonds, 2 double bonds are there. So we will be writing 2 and the position of double bonds will be 9 in between 9 and 12. An alternate method to write the name of an unsaturated fatty acid is to write the position of double bond as in numericals, total number of carbon atoms in Roman followed by suffix eoic, ENIOic acid for 1 double bond, dienoic acid for 2 double bonds, trienoic acid for the 3 double bonds. So oleic acid will be 9-octadecanoic acid. Linoleic acid will be 9-12-octadecadienoic acid. Octadec in the sense 18. So enoic 1 double bond, 9 position of double bonds. Fatty acid naming and food sources. There are 3 naming systems used for fatty acids: delta nomenclature, omega nomenclature and common names. The omega nomenclature and common names are used more in the field of nutrition than the delta nomenclature when describing specific fatty acids. So first we will be learning about the delta nomenclature. For delta nomenclature, you need to know 3 things: number of carbons in the fatty acid, number of double bonds, number of carbons from the carboxylic acid alpha, and to the first carbon in the double bond. Let's consider the example of the delta nomenclature. Double bond location is between 9 and carbon will be 18 carbons are there, double bond 1. So the number of carbons in the fatty acid is 18, number of double bonds is 1, Number of carbons from the carboxylic acid end to the first carbon in the double bond will be 9. Number of carbons from the carboxylic acid end to the first carbon to the double bond is 9. So this is written as shown in the figure. Like 18:1 delta 9. Okay. Omega nomenclature. The omega nomenclature is almost exactly the same as the delta nomenclature. The only difference being that carbons are counted from the methyl omega end instead of carboxylic end, and the omega symbol is used instead of the delta symbol. Omega symbol is used instead of delta symbol. We will be putting a delta symbol in the delta nomenclature. In after the number of double bond, we will be putting a delta sign. In the case of omega nomenclature, number of carbons, we need to know three things: number of carbons in the fatty acid, number of double bonds, number of carbons from the methyl end, that is the omega end, to the first carbon in the double bond closest to the methyl end. We will again consider the same fatty acid as like this. So 18:1 omega 9. So number of carbons in the fatty acid is 18, number of double bonds is 1, number of carbons from the methyl omega end to the first carbon in the double bond closest to the methyl end is 9. Okay, so it's 9. And then it is a saturated fatty acid, then the omega nomenclature is not added to the end of the name. It is in the 18 carbon saturated fatty acid, then it would be named 18:0. It is written as shown in the figure instead of an omega prefix, and prefix N is also commonly used. Next is the common names. The common names of fatty acids is something that for the most part have to be learned or memorized. The common names of the fatty acid we have been naming in this section is oleic acid. That's named oleic acid, that's it. However, it can also called oleate. The common difference is that instead of a carboxylic acid and at the end of the fatty acid, it has been ionized to form a salt, shown below. This is what the ATE ending indicates. The two names are used interchangeably. So oleate is also there. Some of the common names: butyric acid, lauric acid, mysteric acid, myristic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid, arachidic acid, lignoceric acid, oleic acid, linoleic acid, alpha linoleic acid, arachidonic acid, icosapentaenoic acid, docosahexaenoic acid. Food sources and fatty acids. After going through this wide array of fatty acids, you may be wondering where they are found in nature. Stick margarine is the only product in the figure that contains an appropriate amount of trans fatty acids. Corn, walnut, and soybean are rich sources of N6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, while flaxseed is a fairly unique among plants in that it is a good source of N3 polyunsaturated fatty acids. Stick margarine, corn oil, walnut oil, soybean oil, flaxseed oil, peanut oil, canola oil, olive oil, lard, palm oil, butter, coconut oil. So these are the classification based information about the fatty acids, nomenclature of fatty acids, Genevan system.